You're watching Esports Center post-match recap. Today, we're going to hear from the shoutcasters Justin Brooks and Kevin Krantz as they walk us through day 2 of Elimination Week.
The same school versus the same school, SUNY Wildcats and, well, SUNY Wildcats. And what we saw today was friend versus friend that quickly turned into friend versus foe.
It's a Rocket League civil war, man. It was a Rocket League civil war against SUNY schools.
But that's where, like we said before in the last episode, that's where legends are made. I believe I heard that. And these rivalries are going to form. And it just so happened that the same school versing each other, forming that rivalry. And it just so happened that every player was on top of their game and every player was just around the same rank as well, which made the games very exciting.
Yeah, I would say that they were definitely exciting and definitely, really close. One of the things that I like to talk about when it comes to those things is it's a lot like looking at a scrimmage when it comes to sports, right? You look at these sports like football and basketball, and you see the teams, the high school teams, the collegiate teams, when they play against each other, they're reading each other's books, right? They're playing at their top because they want to be that, they want to be over the other team. They want to be over the other person. They want to be on that starting team if that's what they're competing for. But in this tournament, it's really about the glory and what they can do for their school. And this team kill means a lot to them. And so whoever really came out on top really can reap the benefits when it comes to getting to the grand finals if they get to make it that far. But I think with the team that we saw come out on top, SUNY Poly won with Cutter, Stains of Pain, and Nachos. I think SUNY Poly 2 has the utmost respect and utmost confidence. And if they were to lose to anyone, it would have been them. So.
Exactly. And I think when you go up against a team like SUNY Poly Wildcats, number one, that's a team that has 3 solid players. I mean, we saw Nachos come from the ceiling, redirect his car, and yet the car control all the way to just nick the ball ever so slightly and perfectly tap it into the net. And it's plays like that where you're not going to see much better Rocket League than that right there. That's something that is highlighted for me in those matches. But Nachos in general is a player that definitely has shown that he is a bright rising star. And with Stains of Pain and Cutter behind him, that's a team that could potentially go very, very far in this tournament. They're not some push arounds. They're not somebody you can just, toss to the side. They will be up in your face and ready to play some, gosh dang hard Rocket League.
Yeah. I mean, they went really hard. I mean, when they read out of each other's books, a lot of what comes down to Rocket League in these Team-esque games is how you're able to adapt in certain situations. When you play 1v1 games like Smash, you're thinking about the other player and their mindset, but now you got to think about how the rest of their team is going to react. And I think that with the team cohesion and the amount of time that they practiced, and I know that they've been playing for only 2 months as a team, SUNY Poly A or SUNY Poly 1, they've only been playing for 2 months. And to get to this point and then to improve over from pools and into bracket to show off even more. And now that they've had a real challenge going in, coming out of the win, a victory 3-2, I think now we can see what really they are as a team. And I think that that's showing a lot more. And as we get in the top 8, that's where we'll see them pull out all the stops.
Making of the legends. So we're talking about the making of the legends. There's an S at the end of that. This is a 3-man team. They're all legends at this point. They all have made it this far, and I think that we're going to see a lot more of them. This is not the end of SUNY Poly Wildcats number 1, and they could definitely bring this one home for their squad and for their school. There is no doubt in my mind that they are excellent Rocket League players, and from the interview, they're a bunch of solid guys as well. So there is no doubt in my mind that they're going to be one of the teams to beat in this tournament.
Yeah, so continuing the legends off of Monday, an unfortunate loss for Amarantha from SUNY Canton. She ended up losing today's match. So even though she was a legend, for the whole tournament so far, it does appear that more legends will rise. I do know that Curls and Petrikov have both moved along in bracket and that their legends are still continuing as they continue to create their story moving on through bracket. Albany has also been doing fantastically in Fortnite. They've been dominating and continuing to get those hot drops, obliterating teams 3-0, and it's absolutely amazing to see. SUNY Canton also won their Fortnite match today, so definitely want to keep an eye out for them if they get the well-deserved rematch that they are looking for.
You already know my player. It is Nachos. Nachos is solid all around the field. The defense, knocking away every ball into the corner, being able to get crazy clears whenever needed, and just providing his team solid defensive play. And then on the offense, just the car control and the amount of passes he was sending to Cutter, and the team play he was able to work out. Nacho in this series, I would say Nacho is my MVP, and not only because he had one of the craziest goals in the series, which was off the ceiling and down, barely tipping into the net. It was an amazing goal, but that highlights his individual play, but his team play is absolutely miraculous.
So I think my player highlights for this match, it definitely goes to Cutter. Cutter showed up from the last match that we saw from SUNY Poly 1. He was more explosive on defense. He had super good map awareness today. His boost control was absolutely amazing using his resources, and he had a whole lot of setups. And those setups are definitely something people don't pay attention to. And I saw they were really visible today, and they were really flashy. I think that's maybe the highlight of the match for me is just how flashy in his setups and how open and fast he was and responsive he was to what was going on the field. So this Friday, Super Smash Bros. Is the only game actually being played, and it's going to be a really interesting round for the tournament because there are so many Smash players and a lot is on the line here. Now that they're this, I think a lot of people don't realize what the representation that multiple teams are competing. Now the Smash players are all by themselves. They're the only ones competing, and now they have the rest of their team on their back, right? So now everybody's watching over them. They're going to root for them during their matches if they're still standing. And a lot of that pressure, but a lot of that, like that backup and that mentality, it's like, yes, people are watching me. That's the crowd I need. That's the motivation I need to get going. And I think that that's what people really want. And for the Smash team moving forward is that motivation, that positivity. And I think that'll help a lot of players who have those extra teams get going and get through this round going into next Monday. Now, come Monday, I think it'll be really interesting for Rocket League and Fortnite, seeing as how their brackets are a lot smaller. And those brackets are going to be more competitive, more intense as they get closer and closer and closer to the top 8, top 4, and then eventually top 2.
What I'm really excited for is we're starting to see the ranks of these players rise higher and higher. So what we're starting to see is the champs, and we're starting to see the high champs, and we're starting to see the grand champs, the highest level of Rocket League that's able to be played. And it's only going to get higher and higher as time goes on. The Poly Wildcats 1 and 2, those were all within Champ 1 to Champ 3, maybe a Grand Champ snuck in there. But there's going to be teams that are filled with Grand Champs, with Champ 3s, and that are super solid. So I'm excited to see the Rocket League just pick up and become as close to RLCS and to the top tier tournaments as possible with these SUNY guys. You're only and girls, you're only going to get the absolute best of the best when things come down to the wire and come down to these final matches, whether it's best of 8, best of 4, best of 2.
Yeah, and we are in the quarterfinal. We are going to be coming up on the quarterfinals round. So the tension is going to be really, really high, and stakes are on the line, and everybody knows it. So.
Exactly.
I'm your host, Erica Bagby. Make sure to tune in next week as we start the quarterfinals.